2 family. Nick POV. I was sitting back on my new lazy boy. Mother base has reached cruising altitude. According to the timer, we are estimated to arrive in about a day. Jack told me that was a crazy good time, given she took 3 weeks to get to Bassville. Now I was doing the thing I shouldn't do, which is looking at things I can buy, but shouldn't because it's a waste of money. Damn you Amazon, damn you Gamer Store, why must you have such cool stuff I do not need? What are you sitting on? Jack asked, walking out of her room in her PJs. I put comfy runes on all our night clothes, and because I could, well, it is technically called an intimate rune, but I wasn't going to tell her that. I mean, why not? What am I gonna do? Sleep in not comfy PJs, like a barbarian? I think not. It's the greatest chairman has ever created, I answer with complete seriousness. She raised an eyebrow. How much did it cost? Comfort has no price, I declared. She still looked unimpressed. Don't waste your money on stupid things, she nagged. Now move over, I wish to test this great chair you're so happy with. I laughed and pointed to a tarp-covered item. I grabbed the tarp, and in a dramatic flourish, ripped it off, showing a second lazy chair. Aha, I knew you'd be jealous. So, I got you one as well. She sighed. You're going to end up broke within a week. I scoffed. Oh, you poor, uninformed plebeian, everybody knows that capitalism makes the world go round. Everybody wants something, food, chairs, giant floating islands, wall posters, and they're waiting for someone to sell it to them. Why do you think people work? Because they love being yelled at by their boss. No, they want money to buy things like our chairs here, I said, patting my chair affectionately. She just stared at me. I didn't look at her. What else did you buy? She had her investigative look. I could feel it burning into my flesh. Nothing too extravagant, just a mm, I mumbled at the end. What was that? I said. A small treat for dog meat, I clarified. You know, for all those times he saved our bacon. How small? She asked, getting off her lazy boy. I just bought him something he deserved, I explained, trying to get in her way, so she wouldn't go outside. She juked me getting to the window. She just looked out the window with a blank look on her face. What's that? She asked, which, in my opinion, was a silly question. A T-Rex tibia, I answered without a hint of shame. She gave me a look of disappointment. I dare you to take it away from him. You're not very subtle, you know that, right? I have no idea what you're talking about. She sighed. You promised to wait for my answer, she said, annoyed with my antics. I am, I said, trying to look innocent. You're trying to shower me with gifts so I'd stay. She was right, I am trying to get her to stay. It's cool to say you'll go adventuring by yourself and see the multiverse, but in truth, it would be very lonely and boring to do it solo. I'm just trying to keep my friend. I'm sorry, I won't do it again, I apologized. Make sure you don't, she said, sitting on her chair. I gave her an unimpressed look. What? It's not like you could return it. // Even though I promised myself I wouldn't buy anything, I still bought music for Mother Base. Sue me. The rest of the ride was filled with music from the 80s to the 2010s. Jack didn't look amused, but she still bobbed her head to some of the songs. When we were over the town, she told me that about 25,000 people were living in Hope. So, there would be little chance of hiding Mother Base. The town was far bigger than Bassville and more developed. Hope was like a small modern city where magic substituted electricity. It didn't have skyscrapers or anything, but it looked nice. Where do we land? I asked. She points to an open field on the map a little outside the town, next to what seems to be a small mansion. Mother Base began to lower to the ground. Okay, it will take 25 minutes to get there, so we should clean this place up a little, I said, looking at the mess that was our living room. I still haven't done that cleaning golem. I really need to get on that. I grabbed the brooms from the closet, passing one to her. Just don't clean up too well. She gave me a confused look. If you over-clean, it looks like we're only clean to meet your family, and it gives the impression that it's usually messy. You're an idiot. I'm just saying. I shrugged. Just clean. The cleaning went quickly. I don't know what it's about cleaning on the clock, but it tends to go faster. Jack POV. I'm back. I've been on my pilgrimage for 2 years now, but with the help of Nick, I've reached my 50 gold coin minimum quota to prove that I can take care of myself. I've been thinking about what to do with Nick's proposal. The idea of traveling the multiverse is probably a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. But am I ready? Will I ever be ready? Would anyone? I need to talk to Mom. I could feel Mother Base slowing down. Landing, Nick called out. The hologram in the center of the living room showed thick pillars coming out of the bottom of the base. I barely felt the landing, must be the shock absorption runes. Touchdown, the board is green. A small beeping noise caught my attention. Nick pressed some runes and the hologram showed the front of Mother Base. We have company, and true to his word, at least 30 people were waiting on ground level, and more were showing up by the minute. Come on, let's go greet them. He started walking towards the basement. Dogmeat took the lead. Standing in the cargo bay, we walked to the ramp. Nick pressed a button and the ramp started lowering to the ground. This was a bit nerve-wracking, coming home after all this time and on a flying island. There are going to be a bunch of questions. Nick said it was okay to tell people I trust about his origins, but don't spread it about. Here we go. Jasmine Hope, mother of Jack, Julia, Jason, and Rose Hope POV. Today started like every other day. My husband woke me with my morning kiss, made breakfast, got a letter from my daughter Rose who wrote about her new boyfriend, and looked over my investments. It was looking like a normal day. Then an island came out of the sky. I sprang into action. Just because I didn't go on adventures anymore, that didn't mean I let my skills go rusty. When I got to the door, my husband was already there, in his full battle regalia. That's one fine man. Any idea what's going on? I asked my husband, as he made sure his outfit was on tightly. Damn him, looking that handsome. No, but clearly they're a powerful mage to get an island to fly, he answered. I clicked my tongue. I hated not knowing what to expect. Rushing out, annoyance ran through my thoughts. This jackass parked right on my lawn probably destroyed my man's rose garden. I'm going to beat the hell out of whoever this is. Reaching the island, we were met with Finn and Holly, which put me at ease. Finn is an accomplished mage sword and dangerous tactician, and Holly is a powerful dryad ranger. Having them here will help. They are just at the end of their first retirement, so they are probably itching for a fight. More people were showing up. What I didn't like was that a few of them were civilians. Can't these idiots see that this could be dangerous? I felt my man's hand enclose mine. I released my breath in a huff. He smirked at me. He knew me too well. The island started making noise, and I began to tense. A ramp began to lower, and my tension rose. There was a man, 6'3", short disheveled black hair, lightly tanned, white shirt, black pants with a shit ton of pockets, and pink fuzzy slippers. Next to him was Jackie. Nick POV. I looked over to the screamer. Tiefling sorcerer. Jasmine Hope. Age, 182. LVL, 73. HP 840/840. MP 2000. Her level is too high for you to read her stats. Jasmine Hope is a retired adventurer. She is also known as the Living Flame. Her fire magic knows no equal, and is said that she can become fire itself. She's Jackie, Hope's mother. She's wary of you. Ailments. Itchy horns. Migraine. Carpal tunnel. Early stages of menopause. She was definitely Jack's mother. She stood at a height of 5 feet 7 inches. She was wearing some kind of flamboyant purple robes. Her horns extended up, back, and then curved up again. Her hair stretched down to her shoulder blades, and she was carrying a staff with a bright jewel on top. Then to the man next to her. Human spell sword. Roger Hope. Age, 151. LVL, 71. HP 1500 1500. MP 800 and 800ths. His level is too high for you to read his stats. Roger Hope is a retired adventurer. He is known as the Last Blade, being the last man standing in the War of Fall. He slew over 300 soldiers, giving his men time to flank. He is Jackie, Hope's father. He doesn't like the way you're looking at him and his wife. Ailments: hair loss, headache, carpal tunnel. That man was Commander Shepard. I mean, he had the same physique, muscle mass, stern blue eyes that seemed to drill into my brain, little to no emotion portrayed on his face, and he was wearing some sort of battle suit because hot damn everything looked cool. Nick, your face. Damn, I forgot about my thirsty observation face. Basville stopped caring because I was healing him, so I forgot about it. There goes my first impression. Let me do the talking. Jackie, is that you? Her mother called out again. Yeah, it's me. Calm down, Ma. She screamed back, beginning to walk down the ramp. I followed close behind. Jackie, what are you doing on that island, and who is this? Her mother met us at the bottom of the ramp. Her father said nothing, but damn, did he say nothing loudly. That look he gave me could melt the durability off Mother Base. Ma, calm down. This is Mother Base. My friend Nick here made it. She looked over at me, and her stare was no less powerful than her husband's. Geez, it was barely one look, and I didn't even mean it. And you are, she spoke to me. I said, he's Nick. Jack reiterated. Oh damn, clearly, Jasmine thought the same, 'cause she squinted her eyes at Jack. Well, maybe he can answer that, she said, returning her daughter's sass and looking directly into her daughter's eyes. The stare down went on for a few seconds before they broke down laughing. I missed you so much, baby girl, she said, holding her daughter in a tight hug. How are you? Have you been eating enough? You look taller. How's old Sasha? Heard Cross became mayor. What's with the island? Who is this young man? Have you already gained your 50 gold coins? Oh, who am I kidding? Of course you have. You're my daughter after all. And who is this handsome little man? She said, petting Dogmeat. I'll tell you everything inside. And the rest of you, get lost, she screamed at the crowd. A few boos were heard as they slowly dispersed. Are flying islands just a thing that happens here? Is this the New York City of the Shine Islands? Come on. They started walking toward the house. Oh, I turned and took out a rune. Beep, beep. The ramp closed. Jack gave me an unimpressed look. What? I had to lock it. She rolled her eyes and stuck out her hand. I handed her the rune. I had another. Her parents shared a look. // Jack's house was pretty nice. J house. Durability, 901 thousandths. Occupants, 3. Rooms, 14. Secret rooms, 2. Armory, 2. Gardens, 2. Gazebos, 1. Acres, 640. The J house has been in Jack's family for over 6 generations. It has been destroyed and rebuilt many times. Each time more would be added and the house was strengthened. Construction. This house is designated as a minor fortress. This house is semi-conscious due to the age and magic stored in its walls. You will need 75 logs, 150 blocks of cement, 10 pounds of copper, and 20 pounds of marble to bring this house to max durability. My observe skill has leveled to advance in the last few weeks. No doubt when I reach expert, I'll know where the secret rooms are. What's wrong with his face? Jasmine whispered to Jack. He's cursed, probably, she answered. I sighed. You'll get used to it. Her dad huffed. I don't think he's ever going to like me. Anyways, I have my 50 gold coin minimum and then some. That would explain why we would go dungeon delving every other day. It was a bit rough the first few weeks, but when I got to Basville, it was smooth sailing. Didn't I find you moaning your heart out in a rundown shuck? Her mother laughed. That's my girl, tough as nails. You get that from me. She flexed, showing very little muscle. Her father just reached over and patted Jack's head and kissed her forehead. "I'm just happy you got home safe." He was a calm man, didn't show a lot of emotion, but you could just feel the love in his words. I'd lie if I said I wasn't jealous. Gamer's mind kept me from losing my mind from grief, but I still felt my loss, it's just muted. "So, will you tell me who this young man is or what?" her mom asked. "I will, but first let me put my money in the Founder's Cup," Jack said, walking into her family home, heading to what must have been the living room, because of the size and carefully placed furniture which looked hella expensive. On the wall was an enormous mural that resembled a family tree. She stood in the center of the room. "I am here to provide my tribute as a part of the family." She spoke to no one. I felt the floor vibrate, and a chalice rose from the ground in front of her. It was covered in runes. Chalice of Convergence. This chalice converts any item placed in it to whatever the user needs. The user of this chalice is J House. This chalice is a Grandmaster runic item. You cannot read these runes correctly. Copy them at your own risk. That's not going to happen anytime soon. The gamer and my magic help me print on runes on objects, but you can also manually craft them into items. But if you make a single mistake, it could blow up in your face, and that's not a figure of speech. One journeyman level rune could be made 15 different ways, and let's add how much mana you're supposed to imbue. It's a recipe for disaster. The user was interested, though. By infusing the chalice into the house can make the materials to heal itself. Can't wait to make one of these for Mother Base. Jack started dumping gold coins into the chalice. For a second, I thought it was going to overfill, but it stayed empty. When the last gold coin fell in, the chalice let out a small golden puff, and on the muraled wall, a new portrait appears. There, before my eyes, a beautiful painting of Jack from the waist up appeared, with a tree trunk extending from Jasmine's painting. Cool. As Jack stepped back towards us, the chalice sunk back into the floor. "Can anyone donate, or does it have to be family?" I asked. Jasmine just looked at me for a few seconds. "Yes, but you'll be put on the Friends Mural Hall. That's where portraits of family friends are put," she answered, giving me a strange look. I point to the center of the room. She gave me another long look and shrugged. Instead of saying, "family," say, "as a family friend." This seems straightforward. "Can I add anything?" "What you got?" she asked. "I got some old runes I don't need anymore." "What kind of runes?" "Mana and mana absorption." "Oh, I also have a dark magic detector." I kept it, thinking I might need it, but with reaching journeyman in rune crafting I could probably make a better one. I was also a little curious about what the house would convert these items into. "That's impressive. Not many adventurers are willing to give up that level of equipment." She nodded. "There, only novice." I awkwardly added. "Only, do you not know what runes are worth?" She looked baffled. Jack gave her mom a confused look. "Are runes that expensive?" Jack asked. Her mom gave her an incredulous look. She stuttered. "Yes, they're very expensive. Only those with years of meticulous, painstaking research into the structure of runes even have a chance of making it correctly, and of those who succeed only a handful ever got to master level. The only one I know of who got that far was Jedidiah Hope." She points to a human at the top of the family mural. He was a black human man with short cropped hair, eyes hazel brown, wearing a gentleman's doublet, smirking, with a thumbs up. And he had to marry the Dark Princess Thorn for that information. Next to him was a woman clearly not human, with red skin color, red hair, and black horns that stretched back and out. She was wearing a large puffy white dress. Her face was passive, but you could see a small twitch of her lip forming the smallest of smirks. "He seems happy," I stated. "Maybe too happy." He was very socially awkward, so when Gran Thorn demanded his hand in marriage, thinking he would refuse, and Jedidiah, thinking he would never get a girlfriend, agreed to marry her. He got a wife and the knowledge of rune crafting. "Two birds, one stone," she explained. "She doesn't look unhappy," I added. Gran would swear up and down how she didn't enjoy being tricked, but every time she would see the portrait of Jedidiah she would smile. I think she was just saving face. Imagine being a princess of the Underland and being tricked into marrying a human. It didn't help that they were married for 300 happy years. She continued. You make it sound like you still see her. We do, she comes for every family gathering, she said. But enough about my family background, tell me about how you came across your runes. Oh, I made them. She blinked at me. In fact, so did Roger. You made them. Can I see them? She asked. I reached into my inventory, causing them to lean back in shock. Apparently, when I stick my hand in my inventory it looks like I'm sticking my hand into a black hole. I pulled out the old novice level runes that I kept over when I started upgrading everything to journeyman level runes. It was over 100 minor runes of mana and 100 minor runes of mana absorption, all in a large sack. I used them to power up my golems. Her eyes looked like they were going to pop out of her head. Even Roger looked in awe. She looked closely at one of the runes of mana. She passed one to her husband and picked another one, checking that one too. Are all of them this good? She asked. Yeah, I mean I can make journeyman runes now, and most of my golems have similar intermediate runes. She gave me a stare that made me very uncomfortable. Ma, a voice from the top of the stairs. There's an island parked outside. Out came a tiefling that looked just like Jack, but older with thick round glasses. She was taller, had longer hair, and was wearing some kind of lab cloak. Tiefling sorcerer. Julia Hope. Age, 29. HP 370 370ths. MP 200 800ths. LVL, 26. Street. Only used to pick up puppies. V. Only takes long walks on the beach. Dex. She once touched her toes. Int. She can understand the fourth dimension. Wis. Why buy a house when you can live in your family mansion? Char. She has cute glasses. Julia is a magic scholar. She is studying runes to match her ancestor Jedidiah and become famous. She's embarrassed about the way you're looking at her, but she does love the huge bag of runes by your feet. Ailments. Sleep deprived. Itchy horns. Slight burns. Mana exhaustion. Nearsighted. Jack smacked the back of my skull. Ouch. Looking up I see Julia jumps over the balcony and floats down. Rushing forward she sticks her hand into a bag pulling out a rune of mana absorption. Taking off her glasses and pulled out a diamond microscope from her pocket. IRED, catching her attention. Her hand shot out, grabbed my shirt, and came in close. Her hair smelled like strawberries, Jacksid's a more cherry scent. I coughed, getting her attention and making her realize how close she was. She started pulling on my shirt. Can I have this? She asked, continuing to pull on my shirt. Jack smacks her over the head as well, causing her to let me go. She looks over to Jack and blinks. Jack, when did why? She didn't even finish as she spotted the runes on her mage robes. Quick as a whip she was on her, and unlike me, she wasn't gentle. This caused Jack to uppercut her after nearly disrobing her. Jack spun to me, but I had already got my look and was looking at the ceiling. Ow, why? Julia cried from the ground. Don't strip people in the living room, or ask strangers for their clothes. Jack screamed. So, can I, I nodded toward the center of the room. Oh, you still want to donate him to the house, even though you know how much they're worth? Jasmine asked. I shrugged. I can always make more, and I wish to make a chalice one day in the future for Mother Base, and knowing what might happen would help me. I answered truthfully. My honesty skill is way higher than my lying. Wait, what are you talking about? You can't throw them into the chalice. If you do that, the runes will be converted into the house. How am I supposed to study them then? Julia shot up, grabbing my shirt again. I removed her hand from my shirt. Wow, she's weak, and moved her over to her father, who held her by the shoulders, keeping her in place. I'll just leave you one of each. Oh, that's okay then. Jez, this woman. I looked over to Jasmine and Roger, and they nodded, giving me consent. Okay, Let's do this. I gave Julia 2 runes, which left her smiling. I grabbed my huge bags and walked over to the center of the room. I am here to provide my tribute as a family friend. The chalice rose once again. Grabbing one bag, I slowly started placing 1 rune at a time. Everything looked fine, nothing exploded or made weird noises. So, I started dumping them down the chalice. After I finished, I waited a moment waiting for something to happen. But nothing did, so I started adding the other bag. After finishing both bags, I took out the dark magic detector and placed it in the chalice. A puff of blue smoke shot out, reaching the ceiling. Wow! Jack grabbed me by the back of my shirt, pulling me away. The chalice began lowering to the ground. Any idea what that did? But before any answered, everything began to glow a soft blue, and as sudden as it came, it went. I looked at everyone, hoping they had an explanation, only for a voice I haven't heard before to answer. Excuse me, will the masters of the house need anything else from the chalice today? Spoke a woman from behind me. Jumping around, I came face to face with a transparent blue glowing tiefling woman in a French-made outfit. Spirit Guardian. J House. LVL. 1. Durability, 1500. J House was once a semi-conscious house that was able to evolve into a spiritual body due to all the magic placed into it. J House sees you as a friend to the family. She's the house, the literal house. That's interesting. I turned to the Hope family, who all looked astonished. What is she wearing? Asked Julia, walking around her. It's a maid uniform, I answered. They all looked at me. What? I've never seen an outfit like this before. Spoke Roger. Where are you from again? Oh, right, I haven't explained that yet. Well, you better take a seat, I informed. I'll bring snacks, J House said, promptly disappearing. // We spent over 3 hours going over everything. From me biting the big one to arriving here. I, of course, had to prove my claim by curing Roger's hair loss and Jasmine's early signs of menopause. It took 1000 MP for both. The menopause cost more, but I got it done. They would have to test that themselves. Julia wanted a book on runes from the gamer store. I did warn her that it wouldn't be in her language, but she didn't care. After healing her ailments, she grabbed her book and runes and booked it to her room or lab or whatever she had. So, now that you're here, what do you plan on doing? Asked Roger. I think he's warming up to me. Well, I was planning to explore the town, but I should move Mother Base first. No, that's okay. After helping our house gain spiritual awakening, allowing you to park outside is the least we can do, Jasmine said. Do you want to sleep here during your stay? Roger looked over to his wife with a raised eyebrow. Oh, no, that's okay. I need to check on her anyway. Today was her first landing, and I want to check that everything is tip-top. And it would be a bit awkward sleeping at a friend's parents' house. I don't know why. Wait, came Julia's voice again. She got some lungs. Does your island have runes on it? She came running back into the room. I looked over to her parents for help. Jasmine just had an innocent smile on her face, and Roger was plain-faced. That man can play a mean hand of poker. I looked over at Jack, who was giving me a slow shake. No, I sort of answered. What was that? Jack whispered. I just shrugged. I'm not good at lying. Her mother giggled behind her hand. Her father still had a god-level poker face. I'm going to check just in case you're lying. Julia invited herself over. I was a bit lost for words. Julia, don't just invite yourself to other people's houses, screamed Jack. But I'm not. I'm inviting myself over to a family friend's house. Oh, damn. I thought she was a little ditzy, but apparently, she's as sharp as a tack. Using the family friend card like that. Unless it's your love house. Jack just began to stutter. What the hell are you talking about? She was clearly flustered. It's nothing like that. So, you won't mind me coming over, right? Wow, what a classic reversal. Say something outlandish, making the other person reject it, with the only way to prove it is to show them yourself. I could hear Jack grinding her teeth. Fine, whatever, I have to talk to Ma anyway. Nick, Show her mother base. Looks like I don't get to have an opinion on this. I sighed. Well, come on. She jumped after me and dog meat. Just try not to touch anything. // Jack POV. Ma, Pa, Nick asked if I wanted to go with him on his adventure across the multiverse. No eating around the crust, straight to the point. Anything less and it would only make things worse. Pa only hummed. He was always the calm one, always thinking. Ma frowned. She never hides her emotions. How they fell in love I'll never know. And he said you had to choose now. Ma asked. I shrugged. He's not planning on going anywhere anytime soon, but the universe rarely ever works in that manner. Pa finished. I just nodded. He says he'll probably stay here for years if things go well, and if it does, we wouldn't need to worry too much because he may find a way to travel the multiverse safely. But, Ma asked. But that I shouldn't go if I'm not ready. That I could never return. I bit my lip. I really wanted to go, but I couldn't just leave my family like this. Pa just stared at me. I think you should go. I looked at him, shocked. I was going to object, but he raised his hand. I know this decision must be eating at you. I too had to make a similar decision when I married your mother. But unlike my family, I give you full permission to chase your heart's desire. Don't live in regret, my small ram. I need to know Nick better if I'm going to leave one of my daughters with him, let alone two. Two? I asked. Do you really think your sister is going to leave that island? Don't be ridiculous. The second she sees those boulders with the runes, she's going to barricade herself in there somewhere, and come hell or last wave, she will die in there. She clicked her teeth. I really thought they'd be a pretty good couple. Pa sighed. I knew you'd try something like this. My sweet, you must let our children pick their own significant others. Clearly, they had this conversation before. Ma puffed out her cheeks, trying to use her cuteness to make Pa do whatever she wanted. We tried that with Julia and look what happened, 7 years locked up in her lab, I say no more. She screamed, getting to her feet. A man who has similar interests literally falls from the sky, and you want to sit on this? Just give them a little nudge in the right direction. I don't like where this is going. Julia's not going on my, maybe, multiverse adventure. Just give her some minor runes and she'll be distracted for years. If I do go on this crazy adventure, I'm not taking my older rune-crazed sister with me. / Julia POV. I live here now. This place was amazing. There were runes everywhere. There was at least one on every surface of the house, and let's not forget the huge mana engine downstairs. There had to be hundreds of runes on that thing alone. Ah, no. Oh yeah, I have to get this guy to let me live here. Time for the old seduction skills Ma taught me. I turned and flashed him a sexy wink. That'll put him on the ground. Oh my God, are you okay? You look like you're having a stroke. Okay, maybe I'm a little rusty. I waved him away. So, that failed. Step 2, compliment. You know, you're pretty good at runes. Got him. Ah, thanks. He must be made of sterner stuff than I thought. Ma said that was all she had to do to have Pa eating out of her hand. Step 3, food. Are you hungry? I could make us something to eat. According to Ma, no man could resist a good meal. I guess I'll cook. I doubt you would know the runes in the kitchen. Here, take a seat. You're my guest tonight, I guess. He led me to the living room where the globe map was prominently displayed. It was glorious. He placed me in a seat that was probably made for kings in his homeland because it was the greatest chair I have ever sat on. I don't know how long I've been sitting here, but Nick's voice brought me back to the world of consciousness. Well, semi-consciousness, but that food brought me the rest of the way there. It smelled divine. It looked like some type of rice dish. It's shrimp fried rice, 8 ounces small raw shrimp, shell. I stopped listening after my first bite. Flavor exploded in my mouth. I think I went to another plane of existence, where runes were as easy to understand as breathing. Scrape. Only for it to come crashing down all around me. Wah, Scrape. Looking down, I saw that my bowl was empty, but didn't I just get this? Man, you must have been hungry. That was your third bowl. Third? I don't remember eating my first. Well, I think it's time to call it a night. What, already? But the sun was still out. I looked out the window ready to point out that fact only to find that it was indeed nighttime. By Gran's evil knickers. How did I lose track of time like that? Quick, think of something. I'll help you to the door. Think faster. You're, going to let me walk all the way home in the dark. Boom, the defenseless lady card. This will make him feel big and strong, while at the same time making him think I'm someone to protect. But you live, like 300 feet from here. You can see your house. It's the principle of the matter. Have men always been so difficult to seduce? Ma made it sound so easy. Is Pa a floozy? Don't think about it. Step like 7, the slow romantic walk home. As we walked out of Mother Base, it's an okay name, I wrapped my arms around myself trying to make it seem like I was cold. Sure, it's cold tonight. Really, it feels pretty warm out. He was right, it was the middle of summer, and even nights will leave you a sweating mess. I'm, sensitive to the temperature. That was a long shot. Really, sorry, I don't know much about your people. Here, he came close and grabbed my sleeve. He still smelled like shrimp. I liked that smell. I began to feel the temperature fluctuate before reaching an optimal range. What was that? I whispered. I call it a comfy rune. It makes whatever you're wearing be at your most preferred comfort level, he said, backing away. Wow, my head was spinning. I've never heard of such a rune. Who is this guy? Well, here you are. Home, sweet home. Wah, already? Oh, right, 300 feet. Okay, step 8. The goodbye kiss. This will seal the deal. He'll fall deeply in love with me, get married, have 3 kids, and live happily ever after in a city of runes we created. I patted my cheeks. Let's do this. Hey you, idiot, what are you doing? In front of me was Jack. Jackie, what are you doing here? Where's Nick? I looked around only to see he was no longer there. He left, like 3 minutes ago. You were standing here looking at the house, like a weirdo. But the kiss, and the happily ever after. I groaned in frustration. How did this happen? I had a perfect step-by-step plan. Just get inside, you weirdo. // Nick POV. You have slept in your bed. HP full. MP full. CP full. All ailments have been cured. I woke up with the sun today. I was planning to explore the town, but I would need a map to avoid getting lost. I started by releasing one satellite over the town. I know I had my world map, but it felt weird to stand there and look at a map only I could see. With my satellite holding geosynchronous orbit over the town, all I had to do was connect that feed to my newly made magic mirror. I took the idea from Harry Potter, but I made it more like a smartphone. This was its first test and I was a little bit anxious to see it working. Okay, now that I have that finished, it's time for morning exercise. // Jack POV. You have slept in your bed. HP full. MP full. All ailments have been cured. Boom, what the shit? I jumped to my feet and ran out of the room, only to run into Ma. Whoa, where's the flame spirit? She asked. Wah, the explosion. Has Ma lost her marbles? Oh, no, that's just Julia. Wah, what's that rune head doing now? She's practicing her rune crafting. She tends to do that every morning. You'll get used to it. I'm going back to Mother Base. The front door slammed open, catching both of us off guard as Nick came flying in with at least 24 grams boys. Secure, 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 he screamed as the small 2-foot golems ran into the house. 2 of them ran up the stairs, lifted Ma and me, and rushed back out to the exit. Nick ran up to us. I heard an explosion. I waved my arms. False alarm, false alarm, I screamed. All the G-boys came to a stop, waiting for confirmation from their creator. Nick looked at me. I nodded. He gave a loud whistle and the G-boys put us down and returned to Nick in a 2-by-2 formation. False alarm, gentlemen, but good hustle, back to base. The G-boys marched out of the house in 2 lines. Sorry, everyone, though there was an attack of some type. The house was fine, nothing serious, minor scuffs at best. Ma just laughed. Well, that was fun. What part of that was fun? I'm guessing those little rock people were yours. Ah, yeah, thought if there was some kind of explosion, my smaller golems would be more helpful than the bigger ones. She just nodded. Julia came running into the living room waving her hands like crazy. Wait, come back. Where did you get your runes? She spots Nick and stops mid-wave. Oh, how you doing? Did you see those small Earthmen just now? Yeah, I sent them back to base. Sorry if they messed up any of your experiments, he apologized. Oh, no, all's good here, she said, crossing her arms and leaning back. Was she trying to act cool? As an apology, please let me make you guys some breakfast. My treat. I'll have you as my guest this time, he offered. That's a good idea, as your golems destroyed our morning eggs. Came Roger's voice from the hallway, walking out with a destroyed pan. Pa must have hit one over the head. I'll get you a new one. / Roger POV. This mother base is well constructed. I would advise not to have the magic engines so exposed, but other than that it had solid construction. He explained that he had durability runes on all the rocks and boulders that lined the inside and outside of the base. I approve. As we passed through the engine room, I spotted some sort of glowing rocks. What's that? That would be my mini arc reactor engines. Each glowing rock generates 500 gigajoules of energy every 10 seconds after I use runes to increase its normal output. I then convert that energy into mana, and then I feed that mana to the mana engine. It works the same way Jack uses electricity from her mana, just in reverse. I have a total of 30 mini arc reactors. Mother base uses 20 at any given time, and when in max it uses 25. In emergencies it has 5 backup engines just in case I need to make an emergency landing. Mother base is also run to be lighter than it looks. It also has solar conversion runes to gain more power in emergencies, he explained. I nodded. It's good to have contingencies. I approve. He led us to the stairs that led to the house above, where we met Dogmeat waiting for us. Dogs are good companions. I approve. The house was well kept. Well kept. They're probably messy most of the time. Understandable, Jazz was the same way. The map was impressive. I have gone far in my travel from the army to adventuring, but to see this much of the world is outstanding. Please take a seat. He pointed to the furniture displayed around the world map. Julia jumped onto one of the large plush chairs. I sighed. I've told her not to do that anymore. I thought she'd learned her lesson, especially after the swing set incident. Jazz just smoothly slid onto the other chair, and just sagged into it. Jackie just rolled her eyes and sat on the couch. I'll help you with breakfast, 4 hands are better than 2. He nodded and led me to the kitchen. He explained to me how the runes worked. It was rather simple, but it's better this way. The kitchen was a dangerous place, best not to make it overly complicated. I approve. Now let's see his cooking skills. / Jasmine POV. By the lakes of truth, is this chair comfortable? This whole place is amazing. I can't believe this place was run down just a few months ago. I see you're enjoying my chair, Ma, Jackie said. I opened one eye. She had a smirk on, so she wasn't serious. That's good because I wasn't going to give this chair up without a fight. So, what do you think? Nice, right? Oh, yeah, I'll definitely get one for myself when I move in, spoke Julia from her own chair. Ah, who said you're moving in? Jackie asked. Well, no one, yet, but I have a surefire way on how to get a place here. She spoke with that J-Hope confidence I instilled in them. And how are you going to do that? Jackie, don't ask questions you don't want to hear the answers to. I'm going to seduce him. I laughed. That's my girl. Ma, Take this seriously. Julia just said something crazy. Jackie complained. What part of my perfect plan was crazy? It's perfect. I love Julia, but she doesn't plan her ideas all the way through. Let's start with the fact that what you said wasn't a plan. At best it's an idea, at worst it's assault. Have you ever talked to a man? Yes, I talk to Pa all the time. Jackie just facepalmed and I laughed. Julie, maybe you should become his friend first, I suggested. Jackie huffed. Ma, don't encourage her. That's not fair, Jackie. How come only you can be friends with him? Julie complained. You can have him every other day, and share him on the 7th day. Jackie started choking on the air. I couldn't breathe, I was laughing so hard. Learn to share, I croaked. Ma, oh, her face was crimson. Best stop before she started swinging. Okay, Julie, in all seriousness, do you really think that you can just seduce someone so easily? I asked. Well, you did. You said when you were young, all you did was wink at Pa, and he dropped to his knees to worship you. Oops, I think I may have embellished too much. What are you talking about? According to Pa, Ma couldn't wink without making a stupid face. Okay, you didn't have to bring that up. And that time when she dressed up in her old adventuring outfit only to get stuck. Okay, child, you made your point, stop talking. Oh, yeah, well, what about you? Yeah, get her, Julie, avenge your ma. Me? Yeah, you talk like you know so much. I bet you haven't seen him without his shirt. That's a bit PG, Julie. Or maybe not. Jackie's face looked like it was about to catch fire. I need to give these girls porn, 'cause they're a little too innocent, maybe my old smut collection. The paladin and the stable boy made me the woman I am today. Girls, please, calm down. Listen, Nick will be here for what, a month, 2. That gives you plenty of time to get to know him, Julie, and Jackie, you can think of your own decision. Julie, try and get a place here. Jackie opened her mouth to protest, but I raised my hand silencing her. Jackie, I doubt your sister could seduce her way out of a wet paper bag. She needs a friend and I think Nick would be a good start. She slumps down. Julie had a determined look. Being a mom is hard work. Breakfast is ready, my sweet Roger called out. Good, I'm starved. / Jackie POV. As we finished breakfast, delicious as always, I decided I would be the first to speak. Nick, would it be okay if Julia lived here for as long as you're in town? I asked. He raised his eyebrow at me. Please. He shrugged. Yeah, I guess if you're okay with it. Yeah, Julie jumped for joy. But there are rules. Rule 1, no rune crafting without me. I will not have Mother Base put in unnecessary danger. Rule 2, some rooms are off limits, including the engine room and the thrusters, and it should go on without saying, but I will say it anyway, you cannot enter other people's rooms without permission. Rule 3, the kitchen is not a place to goof around. Come in, make your food, get out. Rule 4, Mother Base is not a toy. If you are ever in a position of command, please take it seriously. Do not press buttons willy-nilly, and if you do not understand a rune, do not activate it. Rule 5, in case Mother Base is ever attacked, there is a button. He pointed to a big red button that spells out, in case of an emergency, press button. This will activate all of Mother Base's defense mechanisms. Anything that is not aligned with friendly will immediately be destroyed with extreme prejudice. This is not a joke. I made Mother Base to be the greatest defendable location I can ever have. There are golems in the walls. There is weaponry attached to the magic engines that will shoot magic lasers. There is a shield that protects Mother Base. Anything I could have thought of, I put, and I still have more ideas for the future. I just need to get better at rune crafting. Those are the major rules. The minor rules are simple. Be respectful, care for the people in Mother Base, don't leave a mess, look after yourself, etc., etc. And all that. Julie nods. Okay. Do you need help getting your things? She nods again. Do you need golems? Yes, please. I have a lot of equipment that I used for my research. Can I at least have 6 or 7 so I will not have as many journeys back and forth? Nick nodded. I'll show her her room. I led Julie down the hall to the empty room next to mine. This one is yours. You can decorate it any way you want. See this rune? I point to the rune on the door frame. It expands the doorway so you can fit everything in your room. Does it only expand? Nope, it can also shrink to the size of a mouse hole. The frame will stay the same, but the doorway will shrink, giving you privacy. She started playing with the door, shrinking and expanding it back and forth. I slap her hand away from the rune. You done? The answer better be yes. She nodded. Good. This rune, I pointed to the rune on the left wall, controls the temperature. Press and drag up to increase the temperature and down to decrease the temperature. Got it. Right now, Nick told me it is at a normal temperature of 25 degrees, whatever that means. Nick will give you a key to Mother Base. I sighed. This was supposed to be my private sanctum. Come on, let's get you some golem helpers to move some of your stuff. Jack, she tugged on my sleeve, looking at the floor. Thank you. I know you could have said no and not allowed me to stay, but you did, and because of that I get to live in my dream house. So, thank you. She hugged me. I sighed and hugged her back. You're welcome, but don't forget the rules. Nick is serious about that. He's understandable, but if he finds you breaking any rules on purpose, he will kick you out. I warned. Don't worry, I'll be good. She backed away. Let's work hard to get our man. What? Yeah. As a team he will have no chance. I sighed. Pa has to talk with her. / Nick POV. After breakfast was over, I bid Jasmine and Roger good day and gave Julia command of 7 of my G-boys, as well as a rune key to Mother Base. That left me and Jack the only ones in the base. I reached into my pocket and tossed her one of my mirror phones. Here, with one of these, we could always have communication if we ever get separated. It also has a map. Here, let me show you how it works. Call Jack. The mirror in Jack's hand started giving off a light chime and vibration. Now bring it up to your face and say, hello. That will activate the phone. Hello. The mirror then showed my face. And to end the call, just say, end call. My phone ended the call. I made him tough, nothing like Mother Base, but it can take a blow or two from a hammer. It's new, so it doesn't have a lot of features, but with time and effort, I could probably add a few other things. For now, it has a camera that allows you to take photos that will be sent to Mother Base for storage, a map of anywhere Mother Base has a satellite, and of course, make calls. She just looked at her new phone in astonishment. Do you have any idea what you just created? Who am I kidding? You probably don't. This will change how people communicate throughout the world. You would no longer need to send messages through carriers that will last months to get to the recipient. This is insane. I just smirked. I wondered if this is what the inventor of the telephone felt like. Whether it's insane or not, we have one now. I say we use it to the best of our abilities. Now let's go explore this town. I shouted, leading us out. This town is amazing. Unlike Bassville, Hope had a town market, where most civilians, if they had something, would go and sell it there. I would occasionally hear whispers about who I was and how I got to the town. It seems like there's a rumor of me being the man who brought the island from the sky. No one really did anything about it. It's just something they talked about. I guess I'm the talk of the town. I bought enough food to last 3 people for 2 months. The magic shops actually sold magical books, used for wizards to record and remember their spells. I bought like 3 for no real reason, just never know when I might need one. There were dozens of different species, lizard folk, beast folk, angels of some kind, humans, dwarfs, tieflings, orcs. There were even goblins in fancy suits. There was a slime person, and if I was certain, a dragon in disguise as a tiefling, cause those horns were ridiculously fancy. But even with this menagerie of men and women of all kinds, shapes and sizes, there were no elves. I didn't really know the answer to why there weren't any. I just sort of made some speculations. The best one I could think of was that elves may have just lived more predominantly in the south, so when the veil came up, they sort of just trapped themselves down there. Of course, that's just a theory. It could be 100 different reasons why they're not up here, I guess I'll figure it out later. Dash slash dash. And so, I did. Every morning for a month and a half, I would wake up, send a satellite into the exosphere, cook breakfast, and study runes with Julia. We would go on for hours about how some spells may be transferred into runes for later use. Then Jackie and I would train, go to dungeons, or just laze around and looking at the globe map, just randomly zooming into places to see what's happening there, or what cool things might be lurking. We were kinda creepos, but we had fun. I had to buy Julia her own lazy boy cause she wouldn't get off mine. I would then cook lunch, and start building more golems to rank up my skill. We would make runes, Julia and I, only the initiative kind, beginner level stuff, nothing too crazy. She was actually pretty good at them. She made small explosive runes, paralyzing runes, freeze runes, mana, and health regen runes. We actually took her into the goblin dungeon to see how well she would handle it. Dash slash dash. Boom, boom, boom. I am the daughter of destruction. Julia screamed, throwing her runes all over the place. Dash slash dash. It was rather intense. I did add it to my party so our experience wasn't good whatsoever. With my experience being cut 3 ways, we barely got anything out of it, but that was fine. I didn't really care about leveling up per se. All I really cared about was upgrading my skills. That's one of the reasons I do all the cooking. Julia asked for me to get her a skill book in the translation of languages. It wasn't that expensive. I did warn her that it would give her terrible migraines, but she didn't really care. She did care after the fact. I had to stay up all night making sure I soothed her migraines every time they came back up. Good thing though, it did upgrade my healing hands skill. Now I have a 40% to cure, and 30 horsepower for every 5 MP I use. Being a white mage is pretty sweet. As night fell, I would of course cook dinner, send another satellite up, talk about how our day is gone, and after buying a TV and all the DVDs imaginable we would watch a movie before bed. Also, great news, Jasmine has announced that she was pregnant, and with my medic skill, I confirmed it. They're going to have a grand celebration and invite the whole family. That was in about 2 or 3 days, giving everyone time to show up, so I was looking forward to that. Roger and I were put on cooking duty. I also made a little side project for myself. I started making as many mirror phones as I could create, that way the family could always be in touch even if they're nowhere near each other. And with this many satellites have been shooting up into the sky, I'm feeling like they'll have a pretty decent connection, well at least up in the north. I had to have at least 22 of my golems just setting up the party to Jasmine's specifications. I dare say this place was looking pretty good. Dash slash dash. Rose POV. A week of solid travel. What an annoying ride. This carriage felt terrible. I can no longer feel my butt. It was good to hear that Jackie was able to get her minimum to get her portrait. It took me almost 5 years to get mine. I am going to congratulate her with the biggest hug. I wanted to bring Derek, but at the same time, this is a bit too early in our relationship to do that. Mom, we're within sight of Hope. The driver spoke up. Looking out the window, I was able to see Hope once again. The place looked great. Looking around I saw the rest of the caravan. There were a lot of people going to Hope for a better financial future. Others were going past Hope to see if there were any other ventures they might be able to find. We can break off here and head directly to J House, thank you. Some of the children waved goodbye as we took a left instead of going right. It's kind of cute. I wasn't ready for children, but maybe one day. Mom, have your parents purchased a small hill recently? Hill, is that the surprise Ma wrote about? Why would they have a hill? As we got closer, I realized. That's no hill. Driver, can you pick up the pace? The driver snaps the reins, causing the horses to speed up. I was right, it was some sort of island on stilts. It had 6 huge boulders, all of them covered in runes. Had Julie made a breakthrough? Why make an island on stilts? As I finally reached the house, I spotted tables laid out in rows, with a large banner spelling out the baby shower. Wow, Ma's really going all out on this one. Rose. I looked over to the house and found Ma waving at me. I waved back. It's good to see her. I sometimes felt lonely without them, but I needed my own space, like Auntie who lives 3 towns over, wanting to make history for myself and not through my family. As I got off the carriage, I saw little Earthmen slowly trotting out of the house, 8 in total, and over to the carriage and waited. Ah, shoo, shoo, go away. I tried to wave them away. They want your luggage, Ma screamed. Oh, they're on the back. Like little soldiers, they marched around back and started removing the luggage and started moving back to the house. I gave my driver his tip and sent him back to the caravan. I'll have to get passage on another caravan on the way home. I was going to be here for a week or 2. I followed the Earthmen to the house. Rosie, my biggest baby, Sai, Ma and her love names. Ma, it's good to see you. I hugged her. I felt my bones crack from how tight she held me. Oh, my baby girl. I have so much to share with you. Oh, Ma, you gossip. Tell me everything. // Nick Walters, what kind of man are you to seduce my 2 sisters? You must be powerful, otherwise, father would have turned you into a paste, or Ma is exaggerating again. I muttered as I walked to my room. Rosie, Julie spoke out from down the hall. She came out of her lab wearing a lovely orange sundress with stylish runes written on the bottom lining of the dress. You like, Nick and I made up the runes. Look, she then touched a rune on the lining and her sundress flashed so bright it blinded me for a second. When I regained my vision, she was now wearing some kind of robe armor. Cool, right? Yeah, but it kinda blinded me. That hurt a little. Well, yeah, I'm in my underwear until my armor forms. Duh, don't want anyone other than Nick to see me like that. I started coughing at that confession. This man has already corrupted my poor innocent sister. Has he seen you like that? Well, not yet, but it's only a matter of time. Jackie and I are this close to having our way with him. She brought her fingers real close together. Well, according to Ma. I squeezed her cheeks. Listen to me, make him work for it. You hear me? Men love a chase. No sister of mine will be an easy catch. Are you sure? Ma said that men are like leeches, they love skin. Oh, you adorable foolish sheep. Don't listen to Ma's seduction lessons. She has only ever had sex with one person, and we're lucky Pa loved her dorky tries, otherwise, we'd never be born. I love Ma, but she has to stop giving love advice. Hey, sis, a voice came up behind me. Turning around I came face to face with Jackie. She looked bigger with a longer tail. I felt tears prick my eyes. I quickly wrap her up in my arms. I'm never letting her go again. Rosie, you're crushing me. She wheezed. Oops, I let her go. You've got so big. She smirked a little. She was wearing the same sundress as Julie. Does Nick like the twin look? Of course, I was working hard out there getting my minimum amount of gold. She pointed her nose up a bit too proud of her accomplishment. I found it adorable. Hey, come on, let me introduce you to Nick, Julie spoke up. I nodded. Sure, I think it's time to meet this, Nick. I'll be the judge of this great mage. // Holy shit, this thing flies. I was walking towards the island, it was huge. It looked like a ship. I heard beeping, turning I spotted Jackie using some kind of rune, and a ramp began to lower. And he made this comfy rune that feels, just, Julie kept talking about the runes she and Nick were using. Who is this guy? // Jason POV. I will be arriving home today, my wife and I have been traveling by foot, from our farm. Mother is pregnant again, that is great news. I wonder what surprise father wrote about. It brings me joy to hear that Jack arrived home from her pilgrimage. I had a very hard time getting that minimum. I hope she learned what the pilgrimage teaches. So are you excited to be back? Laura asked. I nodded. Yes, it's good to be here. She giggled a little. I love her laugh. It brings me great joy. How do I still love that handsome stony face? She looked up smiling at me. My father taught me things only a good wife would love. So, my love life will go smoothly. She laughed. I smiled. It was still a great laugh. Dash slash dash. There is a giant island on my parents' lawn. That's new. Those boulders have a lot of runes. Did Julia have a breakthrough? If she has, then this looks most impressive. Laura was losing her mind. Wow, look, it's huge. What do you think it is? Who made it? Do you think it's your sister? Do you think she had to marry a dark princess like your ancestor? I think Dark Princess Helen would be a pretty good match. I brought her into an embrace, stopping her from trying to climb it. Hey, what are you trying to do? Get me all hot and bothered? 'Cause it's working. I gave her a small kiss on her forehead, silencing her immediately. Her face nearly lit on fire. I guessed by how red her face became. Why, you can't do that. TTT, that's only for us time, not out here, where anyone can see. Then stop looking so beautiful. She made a gasping noise, before shoving her face into my chest. You cheater, she muffled into my chest. And why do you smell so good? It's because you like my natural musk, I answered. She screamed into my chest. You're not supposed to answer that. She began gently pounding on my chest. Jason, Laura, it is good to see that you have arrived safely. Laura jumped off my chest, face on fire. FFF, father-in-law, it's goo. She froze. I looked over at father. Wow, my father had a full head of hair. He cut it to a buzz cut, but you can see it. You have hair. Father had a small smirk. Most couldn't see it, but I've lived with this man my whole life. Indeed, Jack arrived with a friend. He is a healer and a rune maker. He cured me of my baldness, but now I have to remember to cut my hair. He ran his hand through the stubble on his head. Father seems happy with his new hair. He sounds like a good man, I spoke. Father nodded. He even gave your mother the ability to have children again. Laura stopped her examination of my father's new hair. He knows we have been trying to conceive for a while, with no luck. If this man could help, I would be eternally grateful. Do you know where we can meet him? I requested. Last I checked, he was at his home working on your mother's request for desserts. He is making cinnamon rolls. I am not sure what that is, but he said it is delicious. Allow me to introduce him. He then proceeded to walk towards the island. Dash slash dash. Nick POV. Nick, I'm home, screamed Julia. She has been saying that since she moved in. I could feel Jack rolling her eyes. I didn't help. Welcome home, I hollered back. There was a woman with them. Tiefling sorcerer lawyer. Rose Hope. Age, 40. LVL, 30. HP 410 410ths. MP 900 and 900ths. Street. Can stop two 25-pound dogs from running away. V. Walks her dogs twice a day. Dex. Does yoga. Int. Makes her own contracts. Wis. Makes her own contracts, which gives her an upper hand. Char. She can talk circles around you. Rose. Being the eldest of 4 would constantly have to look after her younger siblings, and since beating them up wasn't a good idea, she decided that talking them down from doing something stupid would be a better use of her power. She slightly pities you, because according to her sisters, you were cursed to make a really thirsty face when meeting new people. She believes you're trying to seduce both her sisters at the same time. Ailments. Slight panic attack. Itchy horns. Stumpy horns. Sore butt. Rose looked just like her sisters, with long red hair and powerful orange eyes. She stood above them at around 6 feet 3 inches. The only real difference I was able to spot was that her horns were significantly smaller. According to her ailments, it seemed to have been some sort of birth defect. She was wearing a suit of some kind. It wasn't like a 2-piece suit or anything like that. It was more like a fancy robe. It was red with black lining. I sighed. I decided to just go with the curse explanation. It's just simpler to use than to try to come up with something else. Hello, good to meet you. My name's Nick Walters, friend to the family. I got off my lazy boy and extended my hand. She shook it out of, what I'm guessing is, Instinct because she was continuously looking all over the living room as she took my hand. "Ah, my name is Rose. The pleasure's all mine. Might I inquire on what that smell is?" "That would be my cinnamon rolls, that I am making for your mother. She wanted something sweet for her dessert for the upcoming baby shower." "They're about ready. Do you want one?" Julia and Jack rushed to the kitchen, no surprise there. Usually, it's Roger who's my taste tester. He always gives it to me straight. "Ah, I suppose." She looked a little unsure but followed her sisters anyway. As I took out the cinnamon rolls from my oven, there was a chime from the living room. "Jack, can you see who that is?" Someone must have been downstairs at the ramp. Probably Roger. He said he was going to see if his son and his wife had arrived. "It's Pa and JJ. I let them in through the elevator." When Roger told me that having the engines so exposed to guests would be a flawed design, I agreed with him. In that time I've been here, I've decided to make an elevator that was situated in the farthest corner of Mother Base. That way if they do use the elevator, it will take time for them to get to the house. They would, of course, still need permission from someone inside the house or to have a room key. That would make them friendly to the security system. Entry any other way would make them intruders, and the security will activate removing them from the premises, sometimes with extreme measures. I saw Roger walk in with his son and his son's wife. Tiefling spell sword. Jason Hope. Age, 35. LVL, 45. HP 800 and 800ths. MP 500 and 500ths. Street, can bend you like a pretzel. V, hunts his own meat. Dex, can touch his toes standing up. Int, understand the importance of farming. Wis, happy wife, happy life. Char, his blue eyes remind you of the ocean. Jason, second born of the Hope family, not being born with the gift of sorcery like his sisters, he instead was trained by his father in the ways of a spell sword. During his pilgrimage he joined the local militia, gaining the rank of commander. That is where he met his wife, Laura. After completing his gold minimum, he found it to be too constricting in the J house, so after he married his wife, he bought a farm slightly outside the towns where he is now a farmer. He is the husband of Laura God Peak. He finds your face funny to look at. Ailments. Low sperm count. Itchy horns. Carpal tunnel. He looked just like his father, if slightly younger, strong jaw, deep blue eyes, his mother's horns that slightly wrapped around his skull and back up, buzz cut, tan skin, wearing light metal armor, and a sword hilt. His wife to his left. High Dragon. Laura God Peak. Age, 405. LVL. This person is too high level to observe. Born in the village of God Peak, she was born the runt of the litter. Her wings never properly formed, causing her to always stay on the ground. This made her ostracized in her village and by her family. Having enough of the terrible treatment, she left for greater pastures. It was during her travels that she found her way to the City of Hope, where she met her husband. She is Jason Hope's wife. She doesn't like the way you're looking at her husband. Ailments. T-shaped uterus. Nearsighted. Weak tailbone. Weak flight bones. Weak wing membrane. Aren't dragons super territorial? If I didn't know better, I would have thought she was a tiefling. She had flowing blonde hair that reached her upper back, horns black in color that twisted into the sky. She had blue eyes, fair-skinned, and she was wearing some sort of gown. It had a frilly design. It stretched to her knees, only covering one arm. Nice to meet you. My name is Nick Walters. I remember Jack telling me about how Laura was a dragon, but damn, her level was ridiculous. Still, dragons are pretty cool. Hello, my name is Jason. Thank you for inviting us to your home. He was just like his dad, straight-faced and all. Hi-ya, name's Laura. Nice place you have here. How'd you make that map and the house and the lift and the runes? Hey, is that your dog? She spoke rapid fire. I couldn't keep up. Hey, I heard you're a healer. Can you help me? Ah, maybe. Just let me catch my bearings. That's great, and Jason has been trying for kids, but I just can't get knocked up. Can you help? With her uterus like that and his low sperm count, I don't doubt it. Yeah, okay, if you want, we can go to the med bay. For privacy. No, this is my family, I have nothing to hide. Laura, Jason turned to his wife. She nodded. Yeah, they're my family too. Okay, well, we'll start with you, Jason. It seems you have a low sperm count. I could hear the Hope sisters gag. I used healing hands on him. Jason Hope has multiple ailments. What do you wish to cure? Ailments. Low sperm count 180 MP. Itchy horns 1 MP. Carpal tunnel 1 MP. I nodded. Okay, Mr. Hope, I sort of fell into a doctor role. Curing you will take no time at all. As I cured his ailments, his horns and hands glowed green, while his junk glowed a light yellow. I still don't know what the colors were for. My best guess is how serious the injury was. The glow on his hands and horns faded first, and after a minute so did the one on his crotch. Okay, that should do it. Now Muz, God Peak, your turn. She looked a little nervous. This won't hurt, will it? I tried giving her my best reassuring face. I haven't had any complaints yet. She stretched her hand like I was a dangerous animal. I guess it doesn't matter if you're 5 or an unstoppable dragon, doctors are scary to everyone. Laura, God Peak has multiple ailments. What do you wish to cure? Ailments. T-shaped uterus 900 MP. Nearsighted 225 MP. Weak tailbone 675 MP. Weak flight bones 675 MP. Weak wing membrane 675 MP. Okay, I can heal your ailments. She literally jumped up from the chair I sat her on, and onto Jason, who returned the affection. If you could give me a moment, I need to get my healer's robes. Help yourself to some sweets. / Rose POV. Robes, why would he need those? By the gods, these things are delicious. I've already eaten 3 cinnamon rolls. I'm definitely going to have to take some of these with me, maybe 2 dozen. He is relatively new to his magic, but he's amazing at his rune crafting. He supercharged his outfit with runes. He uses it to boost his power to help him heal certain illnesses that he can't overcome by his own power, answered Julia with a mouthful of cinnamon bun. You can even see it in my glasses. He cured my nearsightedness, and then instead of throwing away my glasses, he turned them into high-powered goggles with strong durability, so explosions won't hurt my eyes if I make a mistake while crafting. She handed me her glasses. They had an insane number of runes circling the frames. Don't eat all the sweets, your mother has to taste test them, Pa spoke up. Looking down at the tray that had 3 left, I reached for one, but JJ's hand stopped me. I find this unfair. You 3 have been gorging yourselves. JJ was not going to let this go. My wife here is ill. Don't you think she needs a cinnamon roll to calm her nerves? Ooh, the sick wife card. Well played, brother, but I can see right through you. You've always had the largest sweet tooth. Sweetheart, I don't feel like eating any sweets right now. I haven't eaten lunch yet. It looks like your legs have been cut out from under your baby brother. I see. What now, brother? Your excuse will no longer work. Then I'll have one for myself. With blinding speed he had one in his hand. They are quite sweet. That butt face. They are rather sweet. Looking over, Pa was also eating one. Wah, I'll take this one back to your mother. Oh come on. I'm back, Nick shouted, coming in an outfit covered in runes from his small half-moon glass to his shoes. Are those runes on his socks? He was wearing slightly loose clothes, all one color, teal, with a white lab cloak. Even his buttons had runes. Okay, are you ready? Laura nods. First is your uterus. It is in the shape of a T, which is not ideal to have children. Followed by your nearsightedness, then I will begin helping with your bones and finish with your wings membrane. We will take 2 breaks to allow me to regain mana. Do you understand? Laura started sobbing. Muz, God Peak, is everything okay? Is something wrong? JJ put a hand around his wife, stopping her from collapsing to the ground. Yes, it's just I thought you could only heal my womb. I never would have thought you could heal my wings. She was sobbing into JJ's shirt. Do you want a moment to take this all in? This is rather big news. Laura shook her head. No, no, we do it now or something will happen and you'll be teleported away beyond our reach or something. At least she was joking again. Nick nodded with a small smirk, and reached out his hand, touching her shoulder. Her belly began to glow a white color along with her eyes. It lasted longer than all of JJ's ailments put together. It took over 10 minutes before the glowing ended. Okay, that was your womb and eyesight. We'll take a break for my mana to recuperate. It will only be around 30 minutes. In the meantime I can make you something to eat. Sometimes the experience tends to leave some people hungry. He turned, finding there to be no more sweets. Or I can make you more sweets if you'd like. She still shook her head. No, I'm okay, just anxious to have the ability to fly, she said with the biggest smile on her face. Rose, do you want me to give you a once-over as well? I can help with your horns. I gently touched my nubs. I always thought I would live with these forever. I was speechless, so I just nodded. I'll help you after I finish with Laura, okay? I just kept nodding. It took 30 minutes of small talk before Nick was able to finish Laura's treatment. Okay, Laura, when the glowing ends you will be cured. I would not recommend you fly right away. You should first begin with the basics. Flying no doubt takes years of practice and I do not want you to fly into the ground. Thank you, healer, thank you so much. She began sobbing again. She stretched out her wings, nearly knocking me over. They were magnificent. Unlike her horns, the wings came out as a beautiful golden color, nearly twice her wingspan. Oh, I'm so sorry, I just laughed it off. It's okay, it's okay. There's nothing to apologize for. She ran out of the house to feel the wind on her wings, JJ close behind. Roger, can you follow them? This is an emotional moment for them. And I don't want him to do anything foolish like have sex outside my house. I choked a little from that. Now for you, Miss Rose. I have just enough juice to help you with your horns. Are you ready? Born ready. // Dark Princess Thorns POV. Ah, it's good to be back. Jackie's home, Jazz is pregnant again, and I get to sit around and do nothing for a week. Life is looking pretty good. The hell is that? Someone parked an island on my family land. Gran. I looked over to find my little Rosebud, having a full head of horns. They were magnificent, they looked a little like mine. My little Rosebud, your horns have finally grown in. They look great. Give me a hug. Oof. Her hugs always knock the air from my lungs, wouldn't have it any other way. So, what's with the island on the front porch? Julie got her runes working. And why an island? Oh no, it's not Julie's. It was made by Nick. Jackie and Julie's friend. She said with bobbing eyebrows. Ah, so it's a man. Ah. He even helped me with my horns, she said, caressing them. I slapped her hands away. Don't touch your horns in public, Rosebud, it's unseemly. Really touching yourself in public, like a common hoodlum. So, who is this man? What has he done to get my baby's attention? Oh, Gran, I have all the gossip. Oh, this child, just like her mother, gossiping like a fisher's wife. Tell me everything.